All right, uh, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, has recently been talking a lot following the events in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. And uh, one of the most outrageous things he has said of late, I think that was about a week ago, and also he has repeatedly, of course, said that, is that Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, all these West African countries that are defying France and demanding that France vacates and leaves their countries. He has said that these countries are being ungrateful. Now, a number of people have been thinking, what's wrong with Macron? But I think this mentality goes back to so many years ago. Remember when France was leaving? Apparently, of course, they never left. But in the 1960s, when these countries were getting their independence after the independence struggle, what is infamously known about France is that they 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 imposed on these countries the infamous so-called colonial tax, which required these countries apparently to continue paying France money for the benefits of colonization. You know, basically it was saying that when we colonized you, we built your roads. When we colonized you, we built your schools. When we colonized you, we put in place hospitals. And France was telling these countries that you've got to continue paying this. And yes, up to the same moment, about 14 West African countries pay that tax. You know, their money is kept in France, printed by France. Their gold reserves are. So basically, this is a French mentality of thinking that colonization for Africa was a favor to Africa, such an insult. But when you hear today the French president saying that these countries are being ungrateful to France by asking France to leave their countries, it basically is a continuation of that kind of mentality. I think it has never left the French. Um, he says they're ungrateful, and I think the other thing he added was that he said Niger, these new leaders, specifically of Niger, are not good enough to lead Niger, and that the presence, for example, of French troops in Niger is good for Niger. But the question, of course, is if Emmanuel Macron and the French think that Niger and other West African countries are ungrateful, why don't they want to leave? If they think that they are so good and that they are doing Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali a favor, why don't they want to leave? I mean, if we don't want your help, why do you force us? We don't want your help. We don't want you to help us. Let's assume you're actually so good and you are perfect and you have everything in the world, and we don't want that help. Why do you want to force us? And I think this is a mentality. It of course takes us back to a historical mentality of the colonialists to think that we need them more than us. But of course, that's the fact. The fact is that France needs Niger more. That in fact explains why it doesn't want to leave. A tick cannot claim that the cow, the animal, needs it more. No, it's the tick that needs the blood from the animal. It is the tick that wants to continue sucking. What the people in Niger, in Burkina Faso, in Mali are doing is basically trying to de-tick themselves to say enough is enough. You tick, you have had enough of our blood, you have had enough of our resources, you've had enough of our uranium, you have exploited, you have looted our gold, you've looted basically everything and taken to France to go and meet the demands of the people in France, while we in Niger, we continue to live in abject poverty. And this is a fact. France has been using French uranium to light up about 75%, that's about 3 out of 4 bulbs in Paris, in France, is lit by the uranium that's got from Niger. Now, France cannot therefore claim that it is good for Niger. Its relationship with Niger has been that of a tick, of a parasite, and an animal. And now the people of Niger, of course, have woken up. Eventually, they had to wake up, and they're saying it's time for France to leave us alone. It's time for France to go away, and they are protesting, and it's a popular protest, you know. So it's time for the tick to go, and the tick is saying, no, 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 we can't go. You need us. This is extremely outrageous. It's almost unthinkable that somebody in this 21st century can still imagine and think like that. But the bottom line, of course, is that the people of France, of Niger, have got to make sure that what they have started today does not stop. They've got to make sure that they carry on with the protest and push away the French. The task for the rest of Africa is to stand behind the people of Niger. It is not true that the people of Niger are ungrateful. They don't need to be grateful. In any case, it is France that should actually be grateful to the people of Niger, because until now they've been looting and taking everything to serve their appetite in France, while the people of Niger remain in abject poverty.